some feminists have this party line attitude, and they can be very extremist. The most enlightened characters in my film are women. There is something so biologically implausible that your attitude is going to cure a disease. There's a tremendous arrogance to imagine that your mind is all that powerful. If you can kill animals, the same attitude can kill human beings. The mentality is the same which exploits nature and which creates wars. This generation, they have a different attitude. Instead of sitting and watching something, they want to be a part of it. They're very hedonistic and sensual. The pool is terrible, but that doesn't have much to do with my record swims. That's all mental attitude. I like grown-up comedy, where it's about character and attitude and life as opposed to obvious gross-out and jokes. I think that major championships are as much about attitude as they are anything else. It will be disastrous when a leader or manager shows up with one attitude one day and treats people with a different attitude the next day. I always advise my sons to believe that they can do whatever they want, and they do. They're very similar to me in their attitude. Our spiritual attitude is determined by our conception of our relation to infinite spirit. When you retire, it's a place in life, a part of the journey. You just don't quit work, you develop an attitude where you can do what you please. I guess I've kind of had an attitude my whole life. On the pitch, I try to be focused and calm and think positive. That's my attitude towards football. The purely agitation attitude is not good enough for a detailed consideration of a subject. My attitude is good because I'm a fierce competitor and I have all the confidence in the world that I can beat everybody else. That's my attitude. You can pull off anything if you have the right attitude. Being cool is whatever you think it is. Own your style. I want to be in the big show. And to be in the big show, you have to practice. I have this attitude now that I'm going to take all the greatness I can. Nothing's going to stop me. That attitude that fighting is probably not fair, but you have to defend yourself anyway and damage the enemy, has been profoundly consequential as far as my political activism goes. There are so many myths out there about Marianne Faithfull. I had to, detach. But I can turn it on because Marianne Faithfull is really an attitude, you know. Cancer changed my whole work attitude. I just really think every job I do, I get this gypsy attitude to money. Being a sex symbol has to do with an attitude, not looks. Most men think it's looks, most women know otherwise. people have ignored me in the past, thinking that I probably had an attitude, and I couldn't break that perception. It's hard to keep a positive attitude coming to work every day, feeling like you're getting better when the same result is losing. I kind of resent this attitude of men that we somehow must always look good. When you are facing the wilderness on your own, you have a totally different attitude to someone who works in government or who has a monthly check. Kurt Cobain really made an impression on us. He just had that rebel attitude. You could tell he was super talented but didn't really care. With a woman around, there's a tendency to eliminate vulgarity and profanity and create a more businesslike attitude. It's not too good to have this attitude in F1. It could be a disadvantage. It was a whole new attitude. No makeup, less is more. The 90s were fun. My attitude toward men who mess around is simple. If you find him, kill him. I was always spiritual, even as a child. I was taught to pray, show gratitude. We had an attitude of gratitude. Even if life was ugly, bad or sad, we prayed. Psychographics speaks more to an attitude, a lifestyle. It's easy to have a good attitude when you're flying, but you need it when you're up against it as well. When I was 8, my mom said, "You must integrate, otherwise you won't fit it in. You must talk like the Dudley people did." Suddenly this thing of having a Jamaican attitude got knocked out of us. If it was true that I just cared about the money, then my whole attitude would be different. I want to win every game, and I want to go out a winner. The place of chess in the society is closely related to the attitude of young people towards our game.